Apologize for working on our budget that's come through here. I call the meeting to order. I pledge allegiance to the flag
of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, call to order. Mike Baum, President.
Gregory Simpson, President.
Diana Klein here.
Oh, Tim Kelly's here.
And we also acknowledge Matt Jankowski, our town attorney, John Perry, the assistant supervisor, deputy supervisor, and Tracy Kellogg. Town clerk. Before we start, I just wanted to make one comment before we start in public comment here, and I just want to thank Tim Kelly. This is his, his last hurrah since he is on the board, and so January 1st he'll be replaced. Tracy Kellogg is also going to be someone's taking our place.
Succeed.
All right, what I'd like to do right now is you have a list of the public comments. I make a motion. Oh, by the way, Debbie Dougherty and Wendy, they're just finishing up the reconciliation. Right now, so we'll be here shortly coming through it. All right, I make a motion to open up public comment.
Second.
All right, any discussion? All in favor?
Any? Sorry, I apologize. Couldn't tell whether it was an N or a J.
Oh, yeah, it's an N. It's an N. I write like an angel. What are you talking about?
Gotta come in close there.
If we're gonna get too close.
No, you should come in
Oh,
close.
you want me to come in close? Can I? Sorry. Is that good? Okay. Hi. Janine Funicello.
Yeah.
And some of you may recognize me because for about a year and a half, I begged this board to help me with the drainage problem in my backyard. And I'm here to say thank you to the board because that problem has been fixed. I no longer, no, thank you. But I'm especially thanking today Mr. Mike Schultes and his crew. I'll tell you a little bit about what's gone on since this project has ended, and that's that I've had no problems with my septic system. I'm able to use as much water as I need without having to worry that it's going to cause a backup somewhere. And that's just wonderful. I mean, that's just wonderful. But I'm not here to tell you how great my life is. I'm here to tell you about Mike Schultes and his crew. They worked in the rain. They were at my house with huge machines and sometimes shovels. Some days before all the members of my household were even awake. The only time they didn't come and work was when they couldn't because it was too wet. And in the areas that were completely fixed before the bad weather came, you can't even tell that they were there. The grasses were turned. Everything was done so beautifully. And this crew was and forget, these guys working and being grumpy about it. They were the nicest people. So from the bottom of my heart, my neighbor Nancy is also here. We had a disastrous situation and it's a thing of the past now. So Mr. Schultes, thank you. And to your crew, who I'm going to be a fan of for the rest of my life. Thank you.
You can sit down now. Anybody got a pen that let the air out?
They didn't fund it.
Yeah.
Wouldn't be able to do the work.
Right, absolutely.
And if you didn't feed the guys, they probably would have been a little grumpy.
I just want to say something.
Yeah.
This is something that the highway department, they diagnosed it.
Yeah.
You came to us once in a while here, but they diagnosed it, and instead of us sending out, and we did,
Yeah.
Mike Schultz is who did it.
Right.
Fantastic.
Right. Shot they did this magnificent.
Tracy, anybody else?
That was it?
Anybody else wish to speak? Okay, I make a motion to close public comment. Discussion? All in favor? Aye. Okay. All right, minutes?
Minutes are up through November 26th.
Okay, have you all read the minutes of November 26th? Tracy assured me that you have the minutes for,
December is basically done, but I'm gonna finish it when I do tonight, because I have to pull in one other resolution, and then I'll have everything for you tomorrow.
the, town clerk's report?
Well, I did hope to have the minutes all for the 10th done tonight, but I got to wait, they were very long. Town clerk's report, we have,
Well, I'm sorry, I forget. We have to make a vote to approve the minutes.
oh, yeah,
First of all, have you all read the minutes? All right, I make a motion to approve all the minutes up to November 26th. Second, discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
okay.
I may speak.
Thank you. The town clerk's report, for November, I don't know that we did this before, so there was $16,331.96 that came in the transfer station. We had 185 in the dog redemption, 60 in marriage certificates. Building department, a total of $14,366. Additional death certificates, 330. Dog licensing, 75. And then transfer station coupons, 20, for a total of 31,592.
What's the number again?
$31,592.96. For December, we had $22,128 that came in through the transfer station. It was a big recycling center. And we've had town clerk's fees of $153.84. Building department, $25,181. Death certificates, $20. Restitution, which is a court fee that we're collecting, I don't know if Irma's here. So Irma arranged a payout plan with somebody who needs to make payments. And so those are coming through the clerk's office and then being transferred to the court.
That was a dog piece.
And then we have $61 in dog licensing and a $170 in transfers. So the total there was $47,738.84. Okay, I transferred funds up through Monday to Mike, so that he was. I think that based on prior experience, that I would rather leave the clerk's office, no money in the accounts, close out at zero, let Lynn start from ground zero, and so the only thing that so far that I left were checks that had not cleared in the account. I'll do another quick accounting tomorrow and see what's to be transferred. Same thing, we closed out the cash that was in the cash drawer, so that it literally starts.
So you put in 75,000 so far.
I think I gave you 71 and change. And so I don't know whether, because I have this note on mine, you had asked about auditing. I think that Debbie's gonna, and Wendy's gonna speak to that, correct? And the
What
accounting.
we were working on?
Right.
Yeah, she's not quite finished. I'm
Okay.
still trying to.
Right, so at this point, just, if you're not gonna get that easy, and just so that you guys stop pressing, it's just, it's not there. Okay.
I'll be there by the close of the meeting.
No.
What?
I don't know that it will be there like.
It's-
You have to reconcile the funds. It's part of the job of the town board.
But because of all of the things that have gone on, it's not yet going to be the point where it's going to be ready and, but I think he's involved at this point. Right. Okay.
We need to get some clarity.
We are gonna get clarity. All right. Supervisor report, I will do that at the end. When you come in here.
Are you finished?
No, the only other thing is that I'd ask that you appoint all of the clerk and the deputy clerks as registrars, so that when somebody's out, everybody has, but Lynn has a different take on it. So I've sort of backed away from that. I think that you all should discuss it. I think true to New York State, Lynn has called and gotten one piece of information. I've spoken to somebody and gotten a different piece of information. So the concern that I have is that, with the death certificates, that's really the big issue. So if somebody is not in the office or available, the deputy clerk or the second can be a registrar, but the sub registrar cannot sign for it, is my understanding. So that, which is different than what Lynn's
They
understanding
told me
is.
they could do anything.
So my recommendation, again, is that there's really no, I don't see a downside, but no, we don't have to do it tonight. So I'm backing off of that request because I think, Lynn should have the ability to make her argument, and I can have as a member of the public make an argument of why I think it's beneficial. You guys. So, so, outgoing, I would like to say thank you. I appreciated working with you. I don't think I accomplished all of what I intended to for a variety of reasons. But I think that we accomplished a lot, and I greatly do appreciate having had the opportunity to work with you guys. Oh, thank you. Lynn, grass is not always green on the other side.
Yeah.
What? My love.
Kids tomorrow.
Thank you.
He said something about, but, that's,
Anyway, so thank you.
Thank you.
thank you.
All right, the assessors report I have here, I guess you all have a copy of it, in your packet.
Are you not doing the supervisor?
I am at, towards the end, towards the end of it. All right,
It's up on the screen. Thank you.
that's it. Let me get back. All right, so I don't think I have to explain it to over there. Okay, the next thing is the building department report, and that's gonna be Paul Timos.
I don't have it, I emailed it.
It's up on the screen.
It's on the screen.
Okay, I have here like an updated version, that goes as far as, that's November 2024.
Right.
I have an updated version here as of 12/23,
Okay.
and the yearly amount so far, in fact, for up to 12/24, $25,181 has been garnered by has been gained by the building department for a year. The total, the entire year is $182,436.50. All right, and there's still a couple of checks that still have to be, that are coming in tomorrow and so forth.
Mike, that was the expenditure amount. This is revenue is 157,855.
No, that one is through December.
Oh, December, okay.
It's on November.
These are
Right.
December, so the.
Okay, just,
So there's a possibility, yeah, this goes up to 12/24. All right, there's a possibility that, it's gonna be close to almost 190,000, which is the entire budget of the building department. So I don't ever recall being on the town board in 6 years that much money was made, in a sense, that it covered the entire cost of the building department here. I know that the projection was 115,000. So this is it's fantastic.
Yeah.
All right. There is one aspect of it that we haven't done and it needs to be done. And this is that we don't do fire inspections because of lack of code enforcement officer. You need to have a code enforcement. Now, the thing is, though, fire inspector, this is required by the state. Simple as that. We have not done fire inspection because we don't have the manpower to do that kind of thing. We know that in the budget that we put in, four, possibly, I think it was a fire inspector in it, John?
So you have the possibility for 2 part-time or 1 full-time is what's in the budget. Right. Plus a full-time secretary and of course.
Right. So right at this point right now, we lost a code enforcement officer, Harold, as of tomorrow, he's done, he's finished with this in here. All right, and we do have, I think we already have 1 application for full-time.
There's one application that's come in, but we're still waiting for the results of the civil service campus. There are 2 applicants outstanding that have not been heard from, or 2 people on the list, I should say.
I know that, I guess there's a resolution for to hire another part-timer besides that.
I would like that. I need it.
All right.
So all a full-time person and a half-time person is what you're saying?
Full-time person,
And
then
a
it's 16
half-time.
hours.
We didn't approve to have another full-time person. We discussed this already.
Discuss this.
We're not gonna do this, take part-timers,
Wow.
so that we don't have the expense of the medical.
Well, that's a decision that the board has to make.
Right, we discussed this last.
Right, but we never actually resolved the issue of what we're doing and all that. I know that in the budget that John has proposed, there is money for the for
I
second
thought we were
full.
gonna wait and see how much money we actually have. We
Which
still
includes
don't know
the
what last
insurance
year's.
burden. I put both social security, insurance, medical and benefits and
That's,
benefits.
that's.
So if you go to 2 part-time,
We don't even know
you
what,
will have
how much
that
money
money.
we have yet
left
this year,
over.
because that's still never been resolved, so I thought we were gonna wait and see what it comes out to see
Well,
if we
at this-
actually have the money.
I can give you
Either way,
I can give you an up-to-the-date reckoning, which is gonna be
Well, for
accurate.
you, but I'm saying we don't even know if for a town how much money we have, because we have not reconciled the money from last year or the year before.
I
So I
mean,
thought we know.
So just
John
quick thing, my
said
question,
that
this
in
is
the budget.
another topic on here, right? The hiring, so why don't we address it at that time?
Okay.
And let's just finish with the actual report on how much was brought in. And then at that time, when that issue comes up, then.
All right. Okay, the next thing is the presentation of the NRI that's on there, and that's going to be Greg Perot.
Natural resources.
Yes.
All ready to go for you, Greg.
Sure. So, is this on?
It is, but it's kind of weak, so just.
All right, well, we'll just project then. Yes, so we're working on the natural resources inventory for the town. This is really, we're coming together on this right now because we've spent almost a year of planning and preparation for throughout 2024 to get to a place where we can actually execute on producing the natural resources inventory. The thing that's going to be in front of the board tonight is to provide the supervisor the ability to approve a contract with Hudsonia that's going to be doing the habitat and wildlife study portion of the natural resource inventory. By way of background, if we can move to the next slide. What is a natural resources inventory for those who are curious? This is really an accounting of all of the natural resources in the town and done so in a way to pull this information together as a common fact-based resource that can be used for all sorts of purposes within the town and the community at large. Specifically, we're looking at topography, geography, geology, water resources, as we just discussed, the habitat and wildlife, land use, and cultural resources are all part of what we're going to be producing in 2025. And then to the community, in other words, what does it actually look like when we're done? It's a set of maps that visualize all of the resources of the town. It is the data sets and sources for all of those maps and the data that's used to produce them. and a narrative report that describes the goals of the natural resource inventory, the methods we use to create it, and the factual findings that we observed in putting it together. Next slide. And then finally, why do we need this? First and foremost, we're also working on a comprehensive plan update for the town. What has been promoted by the state and every municipality has come to understand this is that to do a really good comprehensive plan, you need a set of facts. And the natural resource inventory is a huge part of that. So that, especially when it comes to land use, there's a source of truth, if you will, for how do we make those decisions, and we're all looking in the same context of what's available to us, what are the resources that need to be managed, and how best to do that. Yeah.
Got it.
So one of the things I wanted to do is give a very quick update on where we are right now with the natural resource inventory project. First, the entire project is being funded by a grant from the Hudson River Estuary Program. So that's the money part. However, the town volunteers are providing the other half of, in effect, the cost of the natural resource inventory. And I don't want to underestimate that. We're going to get to the budget in a second, but firstly, the timeline, as I indicated, 2024 was all about really planning and preparation and getting all of the constituents together, getting the Hudsonia contract done, and really getting all of the resources that we need in order to produce these maps and data sets and so forth. So that, as you can see, we have accomplished quite a bit so far, but 2025 is going to be quite busy, and it's going to be divided into roughly two phases. First phase is going to be the production and delivery of a first draft. So that's going to be the maps and the narrative report, first draft, and that's going to take us roughly into early summertime. And then there's going to be public commentary and so forth, reaching out to the county, our own planning boards, zoning boards, and so forth, get all the necessary feedback. We will collect that and then finally produce a final report that should be delivered towards the end of the year, roughly November. So that's the timeline. And then finally, the budget aspect. Certainly one key area to note is that the grant funds, which you can see in the first column coming down, a total of $36,800 is being provided by the grant, and that's covering all of our monetary costs. The match for the grant is being done exclusively through volunteer hours. And you can see in the hours columns down here, the amount of hours that we've already put in and are yet to put in producing this. So when I tell you that this is no small undertaking, I truly mean it. And at the end of all this,
the ArcGIS with
ArcGIS is the basically the mapping tools.
right, but who's doing that work? Okay, thank you. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, this guy.
This, all that time doesn't take into account the other things that the committee's doing, like working on a comprehensive plan.
So if there's a separate committee for the comprehensive plan, there is some overlap in terms of members, but there are other folks that are taking that up.
So this is really the primary goal of
The CAC, yes.
CAC this year. Okay.
And with the mapping, do those maps get layered in like with the county GIS viewer? Will that layer be available there, or like where will that be?
So the data sources for most of the layers you see in that in the county's natural resource inventory are the same.
Okay,
However, we are going to be providing them one big ad, which is Habitat and Wildlife.
okay.
Very few municipalities have been able to provide that data so far in the county, and we're going to be in a very short list of municipalities that will be doing that.
So it'll be viewable in the county viewer.
Yes, yes, it will be. Yes.
See, the best part about this grant, about this, doing this work, it's not because the town is dying.
No?
I mean, this is,
What's our volunteers? I was just gonna say that.
260 hours is not a small amount of hours.
This is right.
Those folks are gonna spend a lot of time.
you know, I want to thank you, Greg, for all your hard work and
Oh, yeah.
Joan and you, and
There's a
your.
lot of,
I tell you,
a lot of
if we didn't have him, I don't know where we would be.
And who does the writing and editing?
we all do.
Yeah.
And field study, all.
We're at the gate.
We're gonna be going out with biologists and.
I will say that the narrative report, we're helped out a lot by the fact that many municipalities in the Hudson Valley have done this, and they're all following a very similar template. So we're not reinventing the wheel, we're using that template, and we are tailoring it to our town.
So the big advantage of this really to, not only to the town, but to the county is wildlife. That's the big,
The Habitat and Wildlife, yes.
yeah. Wow.
So we're gonna know what's where.
Correct.
Thank you.
Great.
So just quickly on reference to the timeline, in the purpose of use for the comprehensive review, at what point would we be able to put that into the comp? Or are you expecting us to wait to the final revisions and then we put that into the comp?
So the two projects will sync on the first draft of the MRI.
So at the end of December 25.
No, at June 2025, first draft.
First draft, okay.
First draft.
All right, very cool.
Any other questions? No comments?
Yeah, awesome.
That's wonderful. Thank you, guys.
Thank you. Thank you.
All right, the next thing on is complete streets. We've sent out the complete streets program. That's the Woodstock one. That's the Woodstock. So like, we're in the process of working with Woodstock and with Hurley in a sense, and have a complete streets program there. I'd like you guys to just to look at that. January. Streets.
This is the one that's important to
This
get
is-
into the comprehensive plan
Right.
to open up potential future grants.
It is, no, it's on your. It's not in the,
Oh,
it's on your shared drive.
I'll already.
Just want you guys to look at it and go from there. Okay? All right, human resource contractor. We have a lot of redundancy. We have, our labor lawyers, Roman and Rollins, he's all in the know. We have our labor consultant, Michael Richardson, and then we have our HR divisions. And, you know, in, Romers and Rollins, they get stipend plus an hourly wage. In HR divisions, they get a monthly stipend also. And, there's a feeling of, you know, people I've been talking to, we haven't utilized them fully, not because we need to. You know, we just, there's no need for the sense to do this thing. So the question arises of the board I'm asking you, do we want to still keep all three? Or do we want to? Well, here's the thing that, you know, for example, with Roman Rollins, we give them a $1,200 stipend a month, and then they charge us also.
What is their stipend? Right.
It just, to be honest with you, I don't know how to do it covered, because one of the things that they're supposed to do is do an investigation. You know, and we asked them to do an investigation, and they finished the investigation, and they presented me with a bill for the investigation. And when I asked them, I thought this is part of the contract, they said, we just do a precursory investigation.
So we should have them on retainer. What you guys, what should be done prior to you guys making a decision is look at the contracts with each company.
Yeah.
Each contract outlines what services are either billed by the hour or what is provided as part of the monthly retainer. And then it can clarify, you can see where the services overlap and what's going to be most cost effective for the.
So what I will do is I have the contracts from 2024. I will make them available, send it to all you guys tomorrow, so you can look at them more or less come through. And
When we get to organizational.
I want you to look at these, and obviously the contracts that you're gonna get for 2025 are quite similar. They haven't changed, so by giving you the 2024 contracts, you can look at them, peruse them, and more or less go. See how it works. Discuss that one further.
Just for clarification on the budget in reference to that, I already pulled Romer Wallace off the budget.
Okay.
Speaking with your consultants as far as, they're not, so that $1,200 is no longer in that. I'm gonna explain why. Me sitting down with the employees of the town, specifically, Samara, she would prefer to work with, as well as yourself in your office. While Romer and Wallens was not that entity. So moving forward, that you can still hire them as a consultant, but not pay the $1,200 a month.
You hire as a la carte, as we need.
I'm not sure how you could make that decision without consulting the board.
So there's room in the budget for one consultant, not all three. There's still money in there, but y'all are gonna have to decide on which one that is. Yes, the monies are there, but just giving the heads up, speaking to the employees of the town, they would prefer not to, they wanted to work with, HR company was. HR Visions.
And actually, when you were supervisor, did you have any?
No, it was me and my secretary for the HR.
You
And
didn't have
then,
any of this?
and then when there was a situation that came up, a la carte. When a really bad situation came up, we have to go back there. We did hire, Romans and Wallens at that point. But there was multiple things that needed to be dealt with, and then our monies were well worth.
Yes. And prior to you were there retainers, or you don't know? Just
Container, we ended up retaining Roman and Wallens. We had some serious employee issues, and we got our money's worth out of it at that point.
But I mean, to Matt's point, you need to see, and be very clear on what each one of those contracts give us.
Yeah, you should review it, but also know that the employees that are dealing with those contractors, Vision is the one they prefer.
Well, here's the
But
thing.
Vision, they're not lawyers.
No, but this is your HR consultant that we're referring to, not attorneys. Romer Wallens deals with HR situations. However, Visions is specifically HR. They're the ones that help with payroll. They help with a lot of different things other than just legal issues. There's a lot more things that can be taken care of with that entity. Sure.
So the bottom line is that you should probably analyze every one of your consultant contracts and look at what services they provide, look at what their hourly, and then make it, it shouldn't be a one-off just in terms of your HR. You've got a number of consultants that you need to really understand what for in their contract, and then.
But there is room in the budget, but not for the services.
Yeah.
Right, I mean, like, also, like, you could look at, like, there's payroll providers out there, like, for instance, Gusto, right? That they have a plan, and I'm sure it will work for municipalities. And they have all the New York labor law, and you put a ticket in, and they'll give you the HR information on, like, how to handle the situation.
But you're not gonna get that from Romer and Wallens.
Right, no, what I'm saying is, like, so that you can save on the Visions thing, or you could go to hourly with Romer and Wallens, but like, I think it's crazy to spend $1,000 a month on, no, 1,000 on Visions. I think that
too also.
yeah, and I don't think we should have, like, why do we need someone on retainer? We've used them, like, I feel like one time in the last year. So like I would say, like, both of these are kind of excessive, and I think that there's a way to, like, you could get a payroll provider that provides HR service. Like, that's something that they do, right?
Let me just,
Also have Matt on as your attorney.
And you have a town attorney.
all right, let me just go and tell you what we've done so far. With HR Visions, they did a workshop. They did one workshop here. Romer and Wallens did a workshop also on sexual harassment and workplace violence coming through it.
Great,
HR
that's
HR
the $20 per employee for an online course that they can do it learn at their own pace. Okay,
What I'm saying with HR Vision is also involved in investigation and helping out a little bit. But the thing is, though, did we utilize that all the time? The answer is no.
Did they charge you for those?
HR Vision didn't charge us for anything extra. Romer and Rollins charged us for extra.
Because you have to do every year that sexual harassment and everything.
I do the sexual harassment, but both Romer and Rollins does it, and they don't charge us for that. HR Vision doesn't charge us for that
I
either.
mean, it's in there.
but they're already, their track's $12,000.
Right, but I'm saying basically is when it comes to, like, for example, my regular contract from Romer and Rollins, I did an investigation. Going through here, it was part of the contract, and they actually were charged, and I asked them why. They only give us a precursor. A very superficial one, if you want an in-depth one, you have to pay extra for that. So, yeah.
I mean, I think we just need to follow what Pat says on this. Let's get the contract, let's review the contract, and when it comes to the organization.
Okay, so I will send out tomorrow, I'll send out the three contracts, they're short, they're not very long at all. You compare them going through it. Okay, community solar. This is a program, comes out of Westchester, and what they'll do is that they will supply electricity through Central Hudson, whatever, for the town of Hurley. And the thing is, what they will do, they can't supply electricity to the town hall. They can't supply town hall because we have solar panels. I won't do that. But they can supply electricity to the garages, to our lighting districts, everything, and you get a 10% discount. I want that. So that's something that I don't think it's.
In most other towns,
They have not done this. You know, this is. I've spoken to other towns and they have.
Which has, Marbletown has community solar, and it basically is.
We're gonna wait on that. That's different.
Yeah.
I recommend cut it down.
Marbletown has done it. The only thing that I asked about this Westchester company is their reputation, what I heard. So I want to do a little more investigation into that kind of thing.
and then this week.
There's other.
Oh, there are.
There's other
Of
companies
course.
to use.
Right, because I think Marbletown has a solar company in Marbletown.
Yes,
That is very, right, Tracy?
yes.
Marbletown is the one in their town.
They have,
No, I'll get all that information. And get it to you.
they're not ready to do that.
Mike, I'm sorry. This the backup this in it. Were we supposed to? There's a resolution in our packet. I guess we're gonna do without that. So, sorry, go ahead. So, okay. So,
All right, so like, so Tracy, you'll contact Marbletown and get the details there going through. There are places in the area, in Ulster County also.
Right.
That you do it. I mean, this is one company that approached me. They asked us to do an evaluation, and when they sent over all the Central Hudson bills, so forth, then they said they can work with us if you want to. So that was just it's going through. We can go and look at other companies here. But again, they're the ones who came forward. They came forward, and I will contact. Well, Tracy will speak to Rick Barry, the Marbletown, and you get their contacts. Okay. The next thing here is the skirts for the trailer. All right, when we first put the trailer back in 2020, it was suggested that we put a skirt on the bottom. This way, we'll protect the pipes. We've already had some frozen pipes there already. All right, so we do have a bid for $16,000. I'm sorry. I think it was $600. Yeah, all right, I'm sorry.
I'll give you heat and tape and everything on that puppy.
No, hold on. Wait, hold on. I got to tell you, I said 16,000, but that's not right.
700.
Yeah, it's 700. That's 16,000. And so the thing is though that, it is recommended to have that because we did have issues with it.
And who's gonna put the skirt on? This is just.
It's gonna be Patrick.
Oh, okay.
Patrick on it.
Well, you need to make it, we need to make a motion for that, or?
No, this is just new business, just for you guys, just bring it to your attention, and then you guys will vote on it.
So then we're gonna vote on all this in January's meeting?
Again, yeah, still in January.
You're gonna need a new budget. for that, all this thing.
Okay, changes in the town code. There are many changes that we want to do. And the only problem is that we don't want to do piecemeal. We want to bring them all together into one thing, the ADU, the cannabis laws and other kinds of laws, that Matt and Tracy are looking at combining together. So once we have, all the changes that we'd like to have done, bring it as one big.
That makes sense.
And that's particularly for the zoning code, because there's a lot of different proposed changes. Each one of these local laws will affect a large area, if not all of the town, when those changes go into effect. So doing a piecemeal and having to go through the whole secret process and for each and every small change, as opposed to doing it all at once. And making sure that, you know, when we're making changes, we're all consistent with the other changes. So hopefully we'll be looking at that in January. Yeah, that's definitely, I know a lot of people were
There's.
not happy that certain changes that we've been discussing since September or April haven't been made, but that's the main thing.
All right, the next one is the fires 10%.
I have to recuse myself.
All right, so for the records.
What it is basically is that,
But you're not voting on this at this point, you're just passing
Yeah.
information.
Yeah, you
no, you're not voting.
As long as it's not discussion too, I know oftentimes if there's gonna be discussion, you don't want,
Just have to
So we
stay-
discussed
stay
it last
quiet.
time, so I think.
but if it's just.
Yeah. Also, what you asked me to do is find out exactly what the decrease, what kind of decrease is it? It's 10%, both Ontario and Kingston already done that, 10% decrease. I do have a resolution here, however, in order to do that, we gotta pass a local law. And I do have a local law here also.
For Matt to review.
Yes,
Matt-
yeah,
Matt-
we don't have a local law.
Yeah,
You have
I
a
have-
model
I have
local
a-
law that you have, and which
I have
I
my
will
hand.
review for the next
Is
meeting.
this gonna be one of the things that you're gonna do in the package, Matt?
That, well, this
Or is
is
this
not
separate?
going to affect, this is a separate local law from the zoning change.
Okay.
So,
Okay, so Matt will review that and send it to us.
Okay.
Come through. Okay, the next thing here is, John, this is having a drinking fountain.
Okay.
Park.
So, one of the things that we have is we do have some grant monies, that we have set aside. And potentially what we'd like to do is, upgrade the water infrastructure at the town park. One of these things would be there's multiple options here. So one of the options are to furnish and install an 18-gallon per minute UV system, with alarm and filter. The other option is to furnish and install a chlorine injection system, which is about double the cost of the UV, the UV being about 4,000 and change. The chlorine injection system would be around 8,000 and change.
It was one-time cost.
That would be a one-time cost. However, with the chlorine, you're gonna be adding chlorine to it as. Right, so, the water samples have to be tested first. We would want to, first and foremost, make sure that either or system would work based on what the water tests are. Our water is turned off for the season, so I could not do that. So in the spring, when that happens, we can do that. One of the other things we'd like to do is, so we have the highway who's again, volunteered to assist us in trenching from our well all the way out to the outfield of the park and the ball fields to bring water and electric. The water and electric one would be to assist in the agriculture for the grasses and in the dry seasons and such, but also to add electric to potentially have scoreboards, timing, things, potentially, some other types of structures out there where the softball, baseball, soccer, flag football folks can utilize the electric. 'Cause right now they're running 200-foot cords across the parking lot to the electric box. So these are things that we would like to update and bring in with our grant monies. Loud Plumbing has presented this, and I'll give it to you guys for review. I'll give it to you tonight before we leave, and along with the work from the highway. So which would be not volunteers, but we would pay for that also, but it would be in lieu of part of our grant money,
This is in kind.
in kind use of, yeah.
So I have the contract here for, doing the water. Next meeting, we'll have a resolution.
Sure. I mean, I don't know if we want to move forward just yet again, because I didn't get the water tested. I would like to have the water tested before you guys decide on it. I mean, the UV works by all means. It's, it's a one and done, other than the bulb being replaced. The chlorine system it's a big ordeal. Either way, we potentially would have to adjust some space in the kitchen. One of the other options was to actually utilize the well and maybe put the injection system right inside the well. That way it's more pressure. So
I can tell you have a dermatology injection system into the well, they replaced it twice because the chlorine, it does work.
Yeah.
We have.
All right, so there you go. So then it would potentially be in the kitchen closet, find space to do that if we decide to go with chlorine injection.
So, John, have you seen this first proposal?
Yeah, this is just only one I got though. I'd also try to get another one if I could as well.
And based on this contract, this proposal, what is represented?
This also incorporates a water fountain on the outside of the hut. So you would have people could give water for their dogs and obviously fill their bottles up and such. So that would be something that we would do. And that's at the cost of $7,000 change that would be installed with the commercial style vandalism resistant type of water fountain.
So basically what we're looking at, and just I'm trying to understand, thinking about a $25,000 investment. That's what this is gonna, to do it properly.
Correct, yes. Now that would be paid for through the grants that we already have. I believe it's 85,000.
It's 80,000. Well, it's actually 160,000.
So if you're over, that needs to be
Okay.
bid.
So this is where I'm going with that. So I would like to get at least one more, if I can get two more.
Well,
If no one's out there that
Well, you
can
have to
do
do
this
an
work.
RFP. You can't do it that way.
If you-
Over 20K, you gotta do an RFP.
Yeah, that's what I was.
There's multiple contracts, so electric.
Yeah, I mean, so valid point.
I don't think
5,000,
there are different vendors here,
yeah.
but you should get 3 quotes.
Okay.
Well, this was after,
Procurement policy states
Yeah.
3
the
quotes.
one that came in.
This is the only, so
It's the one that came in.
did an RFP go up?
I did not establish an RFP.
Yeah,
I didn't know why.
We didn't do it as a board.
No,
I didn't.
Right.
So we have to have an
If
RFP.
it's over $20,000,
It's not over 10,000.
Yes, it is.
That's not.
It's one or the other.
Hold on. I just asked,
So 7,
He
John.
misspoke about, it's the total project amount that he's talking about, is 25.
It's not all one vendor.
It's not all one vendor.
It's several different vendors.
so you,
so if I look at this.
so you're looking at right around 17,000 if we go with the UV. If we go with if we do go with the chlorine injection, you will be in the $20,000.
So that's why I'm trying to understand.
Right.
That's why I asked what.
But I couldn't.
So in other words,
if you're doing that, you should.
Can I just finish saying what I had to say, just to be clear? If we're going to go forward with this, we're looking at about $25,000. That stays,
Including the electric, yes.
because that's what we. Correct. So it's pointless to have the discussion of $4,000.
I'll do an RFP and we'll send it out.
Okay.
I didn't know what it was gonna cost. I just had them come up.
Yeah.
So now we know. So yeah, so we can move forward with an RFP.
Thank
But
you.
we have theirs submitted already.
Thank you.
Okay. Any other business to go on? If you guys want to discuss? Resolutions here. The first resolution is to authorize the supervisor to execute the Hudsonia contract that Greg was talking about.
Second.
All discussion? All in favor?
I
Want me to sign it now? Want me to sign it now, the contract? I have it there. I'll do that afterwards.
There you go.
All right, the next resolution here is the Justice Court order.
So moved.
Second.
Favor? All right. You haven't inside this,
The audits are right here. so
Sure,
review
Madam
them.
Chairman, if
Oh, okay.
everybody shines, and I will gladly put them away at least.
Yeah, everybody's got to sign, and just review them and sign.
Okay. The next thing here is, all right, next one is approve the senior account clerk training request. This is for Wendy Trojak. All right, it's in our packet there.
One second.
I'm gonna move it. Somebody has to make the motion.
I'll make the motion.
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor? All right. So did it. Good luck.
Oh, this is for the zoning, right? Resolution to appoint a part-time zoning board of appeals secretary.
So moved.
Second.
Debbie, are you making the
Yeah, you
motion?
can't make the motion. I don't think.
No, I was just reading it.
Oh,
I just read it. And
Okay, so Tim is making it
Tim makes the
and
motion. I second it.
Greg is second. Okay.
Any discussion? Favor?
Aye. Okay. Next one here is appoint a part-time municipal code officer and building inspector.
Lisa, you're-
This is, can you read it? Resolution to appoint a temporary employee as a part-time municipal code officer and building inspector number one. Be resolved by the town board, the town of Rose to appoint, well, we don't have anybody yet. A state certified code enforcement officer to the part-time municipal code officer, building inspector one, civil service 4430, not competitive, as a temporary employee to work up to 16 hours per week at the rate of 32 hours per hour.
So
Fund line is, and I believe this is, Clark.
Yeah, I'm not sure why you put temporary. This is gonna be a permanent part-time.
So I'm saying again.
Why was 16 hours a week?
That's all he can work.
Because that's where you can work, or is there something that,
That's all he can work. He's income limited because he's collecting social security and state retirement.
okay,
So we do have a name.
but you need to put that in there though? I mean, he could have work as many hours as he wanted without having it. Like you said, it's a 30-hour week. Maybe he only can work 16, I don't know why we want to. 16 hours.
Well, he's currently working 6 hours a week. That was authorized last summer. I lost Harold, who was working 20 hours a week. He's no longer with the town. So appointing Clark to work up to an additional 10 hours only offsets half the amount that Harold was otherwise working. So I'm still short 10 hours of manpower per week. It's simply taking Clark, who's permanent part-time, and increasing his ability to work hours by 10.
So do we need to rephrase this to a point? This is not a temporary employee.
No, it's not temporary, it's permanent part-time, sir.
That's Mike.
Yes.
So this is not a temporary person.
No, this is not temporary.
This is a permanent part-time.
Make a motion to amend.
So move. And also you need to include this name.
What's Clark's last name?
Kimball.
Kimball with an I?
Yeah, I believe so, yes.
That's KIM.
Yes.
Thank you. Further discussion? All right, all in favor?
Who's seconding?
I'll second the motion with
As
amendments.
Yeah.
As amended. Okay. All right, discussion? All right, all in favor?
Aye.
Move.
Can I make a suggestion?
All right.
waiting for the ambulance district? Why don't you move that to the very beginning?
Oh.
So that they're not standing there. You move that.
Yeah, yeah.
Sorry, just figured it out. We were trying to figure it out.
What are we doing here?
So this is the resolution for the final order and determination of the town board of the town of Hurley for the purpose of establishing the town of Hurley ambulance district and district board of ambulance commissioners and making a determination of public need. It's basically to close out the taxes for the.
I'll make that motion.
Second.
Any discussion?
Why don't you just summarize, so I think everybody can help, why don't you just summarize?
So, yeah, according to Terry, even though we've done everything that we needed to do to form the tax district, it's officially formed, that there's in the laws, the town law says that we should do the final order of determination. And that's basically, so we're just crossing the T's and dotting the I's. Yep, just to finalize it.
All those in favor?
I,
Opposed?
You wanna, do we need to do a roll call on that or just?
I think everybody can.
It doesn't matter that you're in favor, it's sometimes you want a roll call, but keep saying that, so don't worry, you're good.
we're good. Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Planning board, please.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
You're welcome to stay as well.
Thanks, Kevin.
Thank you.
All right, you can skip over to, updates on the planning board, please. Diana?
So, resolution update the town of Hurley planning board meeting. It's, written in here. And then we just went back to where they're working for the street. And then, cut out some of the per lot items. Just to make it more, reasonable.
So this is this.
Yeah.
These were updated, but.
Yes.
Numbers.
Yes. Marble town. Olive.
Yes.
We're, the one more.
So there's a motion. Yeah, I'll move the motion.
I'll second it. All in favor? Aye. Opposed? So be it. All right, Debbie?
I said.
This is not one click.
Yeah, but she, you want me to read these first?
And then do they have to handle what are we doing?
Well, this goes in conjunction with the plan. Right.
This is a letter.
Yes, I will, but I want to explain why I'm reading this. We're looking at an appointment of an additional planning board member. That's what I'm looking at. We're gonna
An
work out.
additional planning board?
No, just your,
You're replacing something.
Yeah,
It
one of
says
them.
appoint.
Yeah,
Appointment.
yeah.
Somebody-
It says
somebody-
additional.
It's a point.
Basically, one planning board member's term has expired, and now someone will be appointed to.
So as part of that, the ZBA liaison, the ZBA and the board, zoning board of appeals, wrote a letter to Supervisor Bonds and the town board. And I'm just going to read that into the record.
So it's to the town of Hurley Town Board, Michael Bond supervisor, from the planning board, dear Supervisor Bonds and town board members.
From the planning board?
This is from the zoning board.
Okay.
We're not.
Regarding, and it's dated December 26, 2024. For the last several months, the zoning board of appeals has had a plethora of applications come before us, all directly related to decisions made by the planning board. While we understand this process is warranted at times, the nature of these applications and reasoning behind them have caused our board to question the planning board processes. There have been multiple appeals of planning board decisions we have addressed in which applicants have expressed extreme frustration and come to the ZBA with strong arguments as to why they were not treated justly or given non-valid determinations in regards to their projects. Most recently, the planning board completely disregarded the normal process and sidestepped the building department CEO with a direct referral to the ZBA. While they did reference code stating why they were allowed to do that, they failed to reference a section of code that required an area variance and to what degree. Upon doing such, they also confused the applicant as to what type of variance they actually needed, leading to extra time spent by all parties involved to clarify. This all could have been avoided had they taken the normal means of action. The actions of the planning board as of lately have required the ZBA much more time and effort and has taken up substantial amounts of our meeting recently. This, coupled with hearing stories of despair from the applicants as well as requiring the ZBA to utilize the town attorney's time, has caused us to formally write you. We as the zoning board of appeals collectively ask that the town board take a deep look into the planning board, their process, and what is causing these issues. In my personal time with the ZBA since February of 2017, issues such as this have never come so rapidly in succession as they have this year, if at all. Respectfully, Josh Vogt, and again, in representing the entire zoning board of appeals.
This was sent to everybody.
We always.
I just want to add to that also. I've been supervisor for 11 months now, 12 months right now. And I have gotten by myself 5 complaints off the planning board of their, I can't describe what it's being done there, but a lot of grievances being done. When I spoke to Paul about this, he then added additional 10 names. So in 1 year's time, and at basically 11 planning board meetings, there were 15 grievous complaints against the planning board. And a lot of the complaints, when I spoke to the applicants, more or less, it was really heart-wrenching on how long things take to do. We have a guy that has a solar panel array. He's going into his 18th month before he's getting approval. We have a sublot drawing division that's taking 10 months. Where I understand talking to other municipalities, maybe 2 months. So something had to be done here. Diana?
So we have a resolution to appoint new members to the planning board, and whereas the planning board chair, Peter McKnight, whose term expired December 31st, 2024. We received letters of interest, and Deb and I interviewed several candidates, so now therefore be resolved. The town board of the town of Hurley to appoint, we put.
So, I'm sorry, go ahead.
To appoint Tracy Kellogg to the planning board with a term ending on.
Be 7 years,
So
7 years.
That would be effective January.
What was, I'm sorry, what was that?
That's effective January.
Right, effective.
January 1st, 2025, to go to December 31st, 2032, if you live that long.
2031? 2031. 2031.
2031. Is there a
It's a
second?
lifetime appointment. There you go.
I'll second that, thank you. Okay, any discussion about
Yeah,
that?
so there was a meeting held, there was interviews held with several candidates.
Yes, correct.
Who were,
We had Peter McKnight, Molly Green,
And I want you to be aware also, the announcement for planning board was held like almost like 5, 6 weeks.
yeah, I'm not questioning that. I just want to know who was interviewed.
Yeah.
And basically they told the decision was, that's what I'm saying.
we're looking to make some changes on the planning board, and Tracy was the only one who had the experience that would be able to do that.
Experience background.
that might be able to do something to change what we already have. That's what we're looking for sometimes.
So is there, being a real estate attorney, is there any conflict of interest that could arise with her being on the board?
Good question. I cannot represent people that are going to be coming before the early board, nor would I be able to represent any sales and transactions. I have, but that's a good question. I would check it back, but that would be, I would not be able to.
She would have to recuse herself from any applications of clients that she was involved in the real estate transactions. Say she represented them during the sale of property, now they're doing something. I would be recommending that she would then recuse herself. She would discuss that, hey, I've represented this individual in the purchase of this property, and therefore I'm.
How many people on the board?
There's 7 and 2 alternates. 7 members, 2 alternates.
And believe me, I'm not necessarily, I
But we have
would
to
be
do
happy not to necessarily take this
Or
position.
we have to do something to try to.
Well, the other thing is, as Tracy, you have been an attorney advising planning boards previously, correct? So I would say that that's
And
pretty good credentials. It's not every day that you get an attorney who was the attorney for other townships planning boards to actually be on your planning board.
I don't have a problem.
And given the issues that we've had with, right now, you have seen with the escrow, the billing for not necessarily reasonable, usage of attorney time.
and
Probably.
My only
Planning
concern
board
is
has been
this.
involved in
My
a
only
number
concern
of
is
Article
this.
78 lawsuits.
My only
An
concern
attorney on the
is
board.
that your capacity as a real estate attorney and issues of conflict are going to inevitably arise.
not necessarily. I would say that I have, in the last 5 years, turned down three requests to represent people before the town of Hurley. And I've returned them down already because I felt that it was not in their best interest to hire me to represent them here. So if you ask me if I turned down three potential clients, it's not, it's not a major problem. There's not, do I sell and represent buyers or sellers of homes that are in the town of
My
Hurley?
concern
Yes,
is
but
this,
not before the
Tracy,
board.
right? Is that you represent, on the board, you will represent a really strong voice of these understanding, clarity, the law. You're a significant player on that board. And I worry that if you're not able to participate because of some other reason, that could be problematic for the
Right,
board.
but I'm just saying, in the last 5 to 10 years, I can only remember turning down 3 clients. But I haven't come up, no, what I'm saying is I would not take, potentially, I would not take a client.
You're
That would be-
misunderstanding what I'm asking.
But I'm saying there wouldn't, that's the only situation that would be a
So I
conflict.
think he's saying if you have sold, have been involved in a real estate transaction in the town of Hurley, and then that person, property owner, comes to the planning board. you want that-
No, there wouldn't be anyone that, I mean, I can think of one client.
But you're not represented, if you represented them in their real estate transaction and the transaction's over. Like,
There's not a direct conflict of interest,
I mean, I would
there's not an
say-
attorney-client relationship, I would still
I would say
be
recuse,
advising that
right.
you would
would
recuse
you
yourself.
yourself in those
This was a former.
Right, and I can think of one client who I represented in a purchase that then came before the planning board.
But it could happen, I think what Fred is saying is happen in the future if you.
I think it sounds like Rick's more concerned with your ability to participate
Correct.
for the planning.
Right, and I'm just saying, right, so I can think of one client, and I don't, they
I'm
actually
not
didn't come before.
interested in the plan.
No, what I'm saying is of my clients, because my traditional market, right? My traditional market is not generally the developer. And the most of the, so in reality, I'm not representing them already. I have no established relationship with those. types of clients. They're going to larger firms and, but anyways, so that's why I'm saying I only put one person on my hair. It's just.
Matt, just so I'm clear on this, there's a pathway to accuse herself with any kind of technical conflict that she might arise.
Yeah, there always is. There always, yeah. Like as long as she does not participate, is not present for anything in which there's a conflict of interest. So at the beginning of the meeting, or when she finds out that this application has been brought, that she does not participate in any evaluation on that application, that she then,
Who's
announces.
gonna make that determination on any kind of conflict?
Generally, the individual who recognizes a conflict, if somebody else recognizes it, they should definitely bring it to the planning board's attention.
Would the chair be the type of person who needs to be able to identify that?
Well, each individual should, if they would be the one with the knowledge to know that this conflict potentially exists. And the same thing goes for board members here.
Of course.
And if someone else from the public discovers something that might have, in all our time doing business or doing whatever, we might not remember something. Someone else says, hey, you used to represent me on this or you used to do that. Then, once that information is brought to the person, they understand now there's a potential conflict of interest. At that point, then they need to announce their
So, and like the only conflict that I'm aware of that's really like fully barring would be like if you have to completely, the town can't even do business with a vendor that is owned by a town official. At any time, they can't ever even be a bidder. So like, say I owned a roofing company, right? I couldn't bid on a town contract, and we could never use me as a roofer until Thursday, and then we could.
Trying to say something?
No, I'm not pitching anyone on the roof, right? No.
Say something? When?
You gotta wait, no,
Public
public comments coming up soon.
Otherwise, they're just one-off refusals.
Any more discussion?
All
Vote in favor?
Aye. Opposed? Okay. The next thing here is,
Anna, you want it?
I seconded.
Yeah.
The next one, authorized supervisor to sign the UPS EU general bargaining unit MOAs of two of them. I was advised by, the board and also by the, town attorney to actually announce an executive session at our next board meeting. And also talking, discussion with the union there. So we're gonna table that for next time. All right, the next one, request New York State Legislature to exchange a portion of the park for a portion of adjoining land.
No move.
You didn't hear what I had to say.
Well, that would be the discussion. So,
I have one thing to say. January 1st, when the state legislature meets.
Really?
well, congratulations. So,
It doesn't mean it's gonna happen, it's gonna be done.
oh yes, it's gonna happen. It's gonna happen. Congratulations.
I moved it. Has it been seconded?
I will second it. I'll second the motion.
Get a highway garage going here.
Hold on.
Hold on, who made the motion and who seconded it?
Tim made the motion, I'm seconding the motion.
I second
Okay.
Second chair.
It's the only one that I got.
Second the motion. Did you get that, Tracy?
I did.
It's the only one I got to do tonight.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Was the question?
Yes.
Transfer of funds, okay. This is my supervisor's report, and I have to qualify this a little bit. We've been working real hard on reconciling the budget and so forth. And, one of the problems that we have is that we had to spend close to $200,000 of bills that weren't paid in 2022 and 23, but it comes out of this budget, 2024. So this kind of inflated our budget a little bit coming through here. What I want to say basically is that you all have seen the reports that Wendy has sent you with the 0.4 accounts and the 0.1 accounts. And I want to let you know that we have not yet fully recognized the each budget line. That's going to be done by tomorrow. But I will tell you this right now, that we have enough funds, enough revenue that's come in. For example, the projected revenue that was given by the supervisor was $1,846,161. So far, as of today, we have collected the revenue almost 2.6 million. So in other words, we have the money there. We just have to start on the budget line. And what we have to do also, we have to eliminate all of the capital funds that would be realized going through it. Wendy's been working tail off on doing this. I feel, well, she's doing a young result, but the fact that she's doing the 2024 budget as well as also reconciling the 2023 budget, and then picking up what Jim quickly left off coming through, and then also supplying RBT with all the information to go for the AFR. It's a lot of work on her part and so forth. So myself, Debbie, and Wendy sat down today. We're very close to getting the budget reconciled. I will say, hopefully by tomorrow, we can get this, and I'll send it to every one of you, and each budget line will be addressed coming through here. I know that we should be doing this today, but it's just so much work that's being done here. Just to let you know, we're gonna have a surplus of money.
Well, I think that, I mean, based on everything that you said, the most solid thing.
Wait till we have the numbers before we go.
Well, no, the most solid thing is.
I'll get to the second thing.
No, the most solid thing that you're saying here is that there is money that has come in that's available. The problem with those, how are you going to address this resolution?
Well, what I wanted, the things are that we can't really pass this resolution right now without numbers.
Right.
Right. So I would like to, now I have to ask Matt this thing, like, can we table this for like January, or it must be done? This resolution to reconcile the budget, transfer funds over, more or less.
Can we do a verbal thing tomorrow, like, can they call us and?
It doesn't have to be done at this meeting. Is that what you're asking now?
That's what I'm saying.
Basically, you.
Yes. But I'm just saying that,
When is
January 7th, we definitely have it by that.
Do a birthday. That'd be
Okay. All right, so we table until January 7th. When did you want to say something?
I cannot guarantee you that we will have those budget numbers tomorrow, Mike, and I have a lot on my plate.
Yeah.
We have to January
Yeah,
7th.
until January 7th.
And I cannot attend the January 7th meeting because you guys moved the date,
Yeah, I can be there.
so just make that aware.
We appreciate it.
I mean, I should be here because it's, part of my job and I need to understand it, but I didn't know you guys moved the date. Nobody told us.
Yeah, well,
Once it's done, I don't know if you need to do it, but could you just give a paragraph summarizing, since you're not going to be here?
Sure. Sure.
Just summarize very quickly what.
Absolutely. Yep.
Thank you.
I will sit, and I'll also, if any discussion needs to be handled through the board,
I appreciate that.
potentially if I
Thank you.
can help you.
yeah, good.
Thank you, John.
One last thing it's not on here at all, that I would like to add to, and at least put a thought in the head. And that is with John Perry. He's more than a deputy supervisor, he's more than a budget director. He comes in here and he sits down with the planning board, secretary, or at the escrows. He sits there with Wendy, continually checking to make sure that everything's coded properly. But he does more than anything else, and he refuses to take a budget.
What do you want, Mike? What do
I
you
would like
want?
us to think about having a new position in town, a chief financial officer, a part-time chief financial officer, more or less, where he's recognized for the work that he does. He's also the recreation director who doesn't, there's money for him, doesn't want it. There's money for him for the supervisor, but the supervisor doesn't want it.
So you're saying instead of a deputy supervisor, change it to different?
No, keep him as deputy supervisor, but also instead of putting him as a budget director, like chief financial officer, and pay him accordingly.
All right, so I just said this isn't on the
Yeah,
agenda,
no.
and this is something that sounds like, you know, when you have a proposal for what exactly, then bring it before the board, I just put it on as new business.
For now, he gets an attaboy.
Yeah.
Yeah, oh, no, I'm not sure.
Okay,
I don't need any recognition.
so, no, so I just wanted you guys to keep that in your mind like that, so we can discuss that later on. All right, the next thing, old business, the Hurley Heritage Community Center. We have, some issues, with the roof, more or less, is the fact that I was given, information that if we are going to, the plan was to make a metal roof on this thing, and the law, the rule is that you have to get a certificate of appropriateness for the plan especially, and that may not happen with this. It's going to go in front of the, it's going to go in front of the Hurley Preservation Committee, and also in front of the planning board for their decision to make. The thing is though, that if we can't put a metal roof, if they do not put a metal roof, then we have to go with a woodwork roof, shingles, all that stuff, which you don't need any kind of approval because it's in kind, the same kind of thing going through it. The only problem we have is that the RFP went out for a metal roof. And we only had one bidder come in. Now, I'm not saying that there are other bidders out there, but it's a possibility some bidders did not want to bid because of metal roof. Who wanted.
Oh, you have to rebid it for
So
sure.
we just have
Yeah.
to
You
send
have to
it
send it
back
back.
There's a lot of people that will do a shingle roof as
Right,
opposed to.
oh, absolutely, no, you have to.
So I think we have
have
to
to resend it.
resend it out there.
Right.
And not only that, though, the bid that came back for metal roof is 25,900. This will be much cheaper, of course. So we'll do is we'll resend out the RFP. You know.
If we have to.
We have to, well, speaking to people in the Hurley Preservation Committee, it's a done deal almost. You know,
Then we're at the meeting about it, like, I don't know.
I'm just saying the fact is, though, I spoke to 3 members.
It was a very strange, the circumstances surrounding this are very, I will state for the record, were very strange. We had this, the high-powered committee, so to speak, put together, which included, you know, the people that it included, and in the room was a member of the preservation and a member of the planning board and the code enforcement officer. And when a metal roof was brought up, everybody said, yeah. And so we brought that, and at that time, they said, oh, that's, a roof is just it's just a replacement. It's not a change. And now all of a sudden, we've decided it is a change. And so now we've decided to, you know, because someone decided to make a stink. I don't know. It just seems a little like it wasted a lot of people's time and efforts. That's all I'm saying. Like, that's there's only 3 things I have in this life, right? My relationships with other people, my family, and my time. And I got my time wasted on that. And I'm a little upset about it. I'm gonna be honest, because that's, you know, like and then somebody that was sitting in the room when that was all discussed, coming back and saying that, in fact, you know, they were gonna vote against this and this is wrong and whatever. I don't get it. Maybe I'm missing something, but I'm not pleased with this. So, because you could lose that building over this winter. We've got a bid, you get one heavy snowstorm and they're doing it over, you know, that building is way newer than the historic district, and that there was no hysterical commission up on that street when that building that they all want to save up there was built. Okay, so that building was built much later than all the other houses, and that was allowed to be done. And so if it has slightly different materials on the roof, then I understand on a stone house. I don't understand on that building. That's a 1913 building. It's not a 16 or 1700s building.
Okay, one more. All right.
Saving an old stick building.
I made
It
the
is in the
motion.
historic district, and it has to be represented that way. And that's the facts, and they do have to do their due diligence in order to make.
We said they were at the meeting, so why?
They were at the meeting and then minds got changed and this got,
Then went back to the whole committee or whatever, you know, committee and as a group, and they said, well, wait a minute. Should we put another roof on there? I can only surmise, but that's, I guess.
All right, I make a motion to open up a
Hold
second.
on, I've got something else though.
Oh, sorry.
Irma brought to my attention that she needs a second signer on, you want to explain it, Irma?
Thank you. The resolution that I presented to the court, to the board. I have to have it second. I can't just have a bunch of names. Please,
What do you need? What do you need?
Oh, it has to be,
Diane has it.
it has to be seconded by,
It is.
it was.
It was.
Yeah, so that name has to get.
Debbie, it's Tim and Debbie.
You need an official
Well,
copy
Yeah,
of
when I
that.
do it.
I need an official person that says I'm second.
Yeah, no, I know that.
That's what you-
Oh, everybody said yay.
No.
No, Debbie.
No, Tim, and then Debbie seconded that one.
And then they said yes.
Instead of
Everyone
going-
else said yay.
Justice Court on it? I mean, even that.
You presented it.
That was number 2. Yeah, that was number 2. I
That was a
have,
while ago. Okay.
no, I'll
So
do
was
it
mine.
tomorrow morning.
Okay. So that'll satisfy you. Okay,
What's that?
You want to give it to me? I'll.
go ahead, Mike.
Okay, make a motion to open second public comment.
Somebody second my.
Second. Anybody, discussion? Actually, discussion with Dan.
No discussion.
No discussion. We open up.
Say all in favor.
All in favor?
Aye.
All in favor?
Well, you bet.
Now you may.
Now you may speak.
No, I was just curious because I've heard things. What's going on with that Dunkin' Donuts?
It was almost an accident there. They-
No,
I know, they're using it as a cut through because somebody moved the thumbs, but I've heard that there's now a problem, water problem. I don't know.
All I'll say is the other day,
No
one
comment.
car was coming one way and one car was coming the other way, and it's not open.
It's
That's all I
lit
said.
up, it's lit up.
Private property. They can do what they want. Business license.
There's no town.
The town did.
The town doesn't run the health department
The town did not.
Yeah, I-
for the water, if that's being supposed, and the town.
I don't know. But I'm.
They have it.
The town did not.
What's happening is they need to get board of health approval.
Okay.
And you appear to be a Stewart's coffee drinkers.
I would like to say,
Yeah,
I will remain a steward.
I would just like to say thank you very much. Everyone,
Thank you.
wanting to see it.
Thank you for.
Thank you for your hard work. You get dump permit next year. You got a free transfer station permit. Anybody on the town volunteer?
Oh, that's right.
Thank you for supporting.
I don't know that. I got my, I don't have to buy my permit.
You know, you have to serve.
Mike, you need to take that off.
I wanted it at the beginning.
Oh, you get it in after the, so
So after this, so whoever was on committee this year.
Gets a permit next year.
2025, that's what we decided to take.
Okay.
And we weren't just gonna do it at the beginning, we're gonna, at the end of the year. find out. Based on that.
It's the thank you for the end of the year.
2 copies?
You want it.
All right, any further, you want to speak here? Can't, we haven't heard you say, right?
Thank you, from the residents of Hurley for creating an ambulance district. No progress today.
To be honest with you, the February. meeting-
All right, I make a motion to close public comment at 2. All in favor? All right, now for the big finale, I'll make a motion to adjourn.
Second.
Discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Happy New Year.